looks like they're going to be delivering some cars for me. Yeah, my shipment of Ferraris and stuff. It's just the weekly shipment, so here we go. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Road Rage. My name's Dave, and we're headed up to North Carolina today. Pretty long drive, about 9 hours, and then it's 11 hours, and then 13 hours. Because of Atlanta, it's gonna be horrible. It always is. So I want to answer some of your questions. A lot of them have came through, and I haven't been doing a lot of videoing lately. Just been super busy. Got the wiring video going on. I can be working on that when I'm up in North Carolina too. Let's get to some of the questions real quick. Now, one of them came in when I did the wiring video. Now, this is a question by Tanfalov Nunya. Okay, so he says, thanks for your hard work. I think the most important thing you've done is including the part numbers and where you get these parts. There's the first site that really ever done that, but he was watching me solder directly on the Uno R3. And he said it was horrifying. Well, yeah, so whenever you're soldering on something like this, you do risk damaging it. Now, I did want to address that, and for some of the super thanks money, I went ahead and got a few things. I'm going to put some part numbers on the board. We can use these things, these 8-pin connectors. So there, I got them, part numbers on the board. I got like 40 of them. But basically, you have very small pin connectors, and these pins on the IBT, they will slide right down on top. And you solder right here, so you're not soldering, you're not creating any heat. You solder them right there, you push them on place, and there you go, boom. One problem solved. Now the next problem, you don't want to damage this. Now, I've done it enough times, I've never damaged one, but you could do it, like I said. So, the next thing I got was these R3 prototype boards. Okay, so they were like maybe $5, I'm not sure, but I'll put the link up on the description. I got 2 sets of them, and they come with a little breadboard, which you can, experiment on, and it's got this little extra board. So what you would do is solder all the stuff you want on this extra board, and then plug it right in to your Uno. So they're going to line up pin for pin. I know the lighting in this video is horrible. I'm at a hotel room. And the only reason I'm doing this here because, hey, I got to get it done. You guys have asked a lot of questions, but basically every pin will line up. You just got to be patient and do it right. And I'm not going to do it here because it looks like I need to stretch them in just a bit. But I have another one that I did. Same thing. The control board, it just fits right on top. So basically you're going to be soldering all your normal components. You can solder them right here, all the different wires that you need, and then when you go for it, and you can just plug this thing right into the R3, and everything will work just fine. So oh gosh, my vision is so bad, and now there's no lights at this hotel. Anyway, boom, there we go. We got this one, and we got that. Now there should be no reason that you can't make a good connection on these 2 different parts. This one to the IBT, and this one to the Arduino shield. Anyway, so take a look at that. That's just it might ease your mind just a little bit, because you're not going to blow it up unless you short stuff out, and you're going to use your continuity tester, ohm meter, to check that. All right, so I hope I answered your question, and I hope that you guys can take a little bit more time on your soldering, and don't worry about frying your Arduino. I mean, the clone is not that expensive, but the real deal, it could be. You know, they're like 30 bucks. The clones are like, I don't know, 10, 12 bucks, something like that. Anyway, that's that. They will line up perfectly. On to the next question. And these are great questions, by the way. And I don't know if I'm the only one answering your guys' direct questions, but I'm doing my best. The next one from BBZ, and it's a good one. So it's kind of saying, thanks for the videos. Question about the electronics of the 3 degree of freedom that I'm making. Similar to yours, I have a 50 amp power supply and a 30 amp power supply. 3 crab pop motors, just like I do. They're rated at 180 watts, so they should max out at 15 amps each, which means I could use my 50 watt PSU, but I know the DC motors sometimes go over those ratings if there's a lot of resistance, so I don't know if a 50 amp will be plenty or if I should use both. Great question, BBZ. Now, the motors that I use are 180 watts. That's the calculation. That's from the eBay seller. That is PG Saw in Canada, and the prices are a little bit high, but you know, it is what it is. If you want to move, I would get them. The calculation is 15 amps max. That's 1.6 to about 1.9 amps under really no load, so you want to be safe. I say run a current test, but you know, they may spike. But what I suggest, use a 12 volt truck battery. You're not going to have any problem with delivering as many amps as they need. But what he ended up doing, he decided to go with 2 550 watt. I hope this is not backwards, it may be. He says he's going with 2 550 watt power supplies to keep each motor safe. And that's, after I get this rig running on the 12 volt truck battery, this is what I'm going to be using. I may, oh, I had it upside down, duh. Okay, 550 watt. This should be enough to power one motor. It might not be, I don't know, because it's right here and I'm not by my rig and I haven't tested it, but I'm going to use the 12 volt truck battery. It's a Walmart special, 850 cold cranking amps, which that would run pretty much anything. But I want to bring this rig inside, and I don't want a battery sitting in my den. I just want to I want to be able to plug the thing in and go that direction. I don't know, I've not tested it, but once again, I'm going to be using these. These are 550s. I got a couple. I need one more. I may even bump them up to 850s, but I don't know until I take a clamp test and see what kind of load I have. All right, so good question. On to the next one. All right, so the next question, you know, it's kind of common. CCAI log comments, excellent video. I have a question since the engineer responds to me when aligning the green line to the blue one. It only moves and then the green line goes down. Can you help me? Okay, so one of the things, I did a quick video on it, but right now I'm going to show you what it's like. I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to do it just because you need to know if you set your if your motors are reversed, what happens and what it looks like. So this is a common problem. I've done it probably 4 times where, you know, I set everything up and as soon as the potentiometer moves, the motor just takes off. Well, they ain't gonna work like that. So I'll show you what you need to do to fix that. All right, so I have all the power off. When you're turning your potentiometer, you're not turning, you have everything on, but you're twisting the potentiometer to try to get it centered. If it hits the blue line and then they separate, that means your motor needs to be wired the opposite direction because it's taking off in the wrong direction. So what I would do is shut everything down. I would unscrew the wires to the motor and you know, give that a test first. Okay, I did a video on that. I can't remember what series it's in. Sorry to say, I've done a bunch of videos, like 80, 90 of them. Can't remember exactly which one it is, but if I find it, I'll put the link in there. I may have done that in his comment. Anyway, good question. Swap your motor wires, not your power wires going to, battery plus and minus on the IBT, but the motor wires. Just swap them around. The M wires, M. So watch what you're doing, and good luck. Write me back. If it doesn't work, write me back. All right, next question. All right, so this is from Clicker Snapper 01. Hey Dave, quick question on in the 3 degree of freedom, do you have to configure the settings for every car or track that is driven? Or once you set the settings, does the rig work with any car or track? I hope you're well too. And George Clicker Snapper 01 is one of the guys that raced with us at ACF, which incidentally, oh man, it has been really good lately. All right, so answer your question. You set it up one time, but you can tweak it. You can tweak it actually for each type of car you want. I generally don't, because I just don't do that. I set it up for what I think would be a good response. And then, like, if it's just way too powerful, I'll go ahead and just kind of turn the power down in Sim Tools on that particular car. I'll turn it down just a little bit. You can do that live. Pretty sure you can do it live. It seems to respond live. But anyway, that's the answer to that. You set it up once, and if you set it up right, it's probably pretty darn close, but it's all tweakable at some point. You don't have to, and I don't unless something weird goes on. A couple weird things have gone on, and I'll talk about that right quick. So I did a video now a couple months ago on my one of the motors was not working. I was driving a Lotus 49. Whew, man, that was so disappointing, because it took a little while to figure out. Sorry about that light. Every time I move, yeah. Okay, so sorry about it. I won't do that anymore. This is one of the more expensive things I did not want to buy when I initially started. I saw them on xsimulator.net. Didn't want to do it because I'm like, oh man, that's like 15 more bucks. I just want to see if it works. Well, I did see that it works, and it ran for 3 years. Then eventually wore out the rubbers that were hooking the potentiometer to the motor. So I went ahead, I got, I don't know, like 3 packs of these. So I don't know if I was just ordering way more than I needed, but you only need 1 per potentiometer. We'll take a little bit closer look here. All right, so you've got some set screws, and this thing, it will flex. It'll flex so that if your motor shaft and your potentiometer aren't exactly, like, just say they're not quite true, and they're off just a little bit, this thing will accommodate for that. As the shaft of the motor turns, potentiometer turns too. Now, on my rig, I had to drill out the motor shaft. On this new rig, I might not have to, because I used a 1/4 inch, but I don't know what I used on the first rig. But I'm going to put the part number in there. I would say it might solve some problems. The rubber hose, that's pretty good, but these actually look pretty darn cool. I don't know. I got 8 of them, so I can be messing around with this for a little while. All right, next question. Next question by D Gator. Hey, and D Gator has supported me a little bit. I do appreciate all the different super things that you've given me and the questions, and I hope I'm helping you out. So he's saying, hey D, just FYI, I started out with those aluminum motor couplers and found them to be very fussy and hard to deal with to get adjusted. The grub screw used to tighten them does not have much surface area to grab onto the motor, and it slipped frequently. And a few other things here. Now I've checked around, and personally I haven't used these for very long, so they may turn out to be trouble. I don't know. There is one grub screw or set screw per aluminum coupler, but I'm going to try it. Like I said, at worst case, I could do another tube, like a 1/4 inch rubber tube. That should work just fine. I don't know why I went with the neoprene. I don't know why I went with the airline. It just seemed I was doing a bunch of Halloween projects, and I had pneumatic actuators that would move things, and so I had to blow pretty good amount of air to get them moving. I don't know, but I got 8 of these things, so I'm going to use them. Thanks a lot, D Gator. I appreciate you, and hopefully see you down the road sometime. Okay, so Dr. ADHD. So he's from Australia area, at least on the other side of the globe from me, and he is doing a 3 degree of freedom build. He's showing how he's doing it too, so check out his channel. But so he's saying, hey Dave, you can add some 3/8 inch fuel hose to get a better connection. Well, yeah, that would make sense, but right now I'm going to use these. Then you can use 3/8 inch hose clamps. You can try this on your rigid couplers, and I do appreciate that. Appreciate all the suggestions, and like I said, due to some of the super thanks that you guys are sending me, I can buy little parts like this and bring them to all of you so that you can see them. Remember, we're going to be using this board as that main connector between all the wiring, the plus 5 volts and ground. Instead of going to the Arduino 25 times, we're going to just run one wire to this and then branch all the red and black, or 5 volts and grounds, to this. Now that is in the previous video, but I'm going to be going over it again in wiring part 2. All right, next question. This one is from Israel Hallyu. Now, I don't have my computer screen blown up real big, but it says, hello DMax. You mentioned there's a free game plugin, Need for Speed. Can't seem to see it. How do I get it? So it's Live for Speed. I probably misspoke. I mean, I'm old. I say things. Sometimes I say things wrong. But on the xsimulator.net forum, you do have the ability to test your configuration. All of these different things, all hooked up and fighting. You can test it without having to buy a plug-in or the game. Now, the game Live for Speed, you can download it. In fact, I'm going to be using that initially on the next video, the wiring video number 2. So stay tuned, or just go to the xsimulator.net site and you'll be able to see that. Oh, okay, so this is from Israel Hallyu again. This was prior to that one. It's just a real quick question. Hey DMax, if I buy SimTools Pro or the DIY version, do I also have to buy game plugins? Okay, so there's 2 things. Okay, SimTools is one program. All the plugin stuff is written by a bunch of different guys, so that's separate. You can, what I did was I bought the DIY SimTools thing. And then I bought a lifetime license for the plugins. Now, I put the link on his response, but that's how that ended up working out. And hey, since I bought that stuff, I've never bought anything else. And I could download any plugin for any game that they put on that website. And there's already, I've done a whole bunch of videos on how to use the plugin updater, how to do these different things. All right, so next question. All right, so this is a super thanks from Corallosaurus X. So $2, so that helps on a lot of these things. I hope you keep going with this, continuing to work on cool projects and sharing along the way. Thanks. That's the plan. Just just time is the problem. I've spent like the last month not doing things, but I can barely squeeze in just a race on Saturday. And the guys at ACF, they know I show up. If I'm there to race, and hopefully nothing goes wrong. But I don't have a lot of time during the week because I'm working out of town or I'm dealing with stuff, and just like everybody else. All right. Well, hey, thanks again for super thanks, and keep tuning in because I'm still working on this. All right. So the next question from Michael Blackledge: how does the motor controller interface with the game? Well, good question. And it was something that I thought too. I go, hey, you got the motor controller, you got an Arduino, you got a motor, and a potentiometer. How does this all work in? So basically the IBT motor controller or any other motor controller is going to do what the Arduino Uno is going to tell it to do. So it controls how fast and how far the motor moves. That's what this does, and this is just a slave to it. This has all the big power and all these little pins here. That's how the Arduino talks to it. So you've got big battery coming in and then motor wires coming off of this thing. So basically the game is going to output data. The data is going to be stored in the Arduino or read by the Arduino, A0, A1, forward, reverse, and all these different things for each motor. Arduino R3 can control, the R3 can control 3 motors. So you would have the 2 in the front or back that tilt the chair or make it go forward and backwards, and then a 3rd motor for traction loss, which moves the whole thing side to side. So if you got more motion than that, you need more than one Arduino. But right now, only 3. That's all I'm working on. Good question. I hope that explains it a little bit better. If it doesn't, just ask again. Thanks a lot. All right, so this is from Spax. Now this is 3 months ago he asked, and I think I replied to him a little while ago, not too long ago. Because so YouTube, if you write me a question, if it's a new video that just came out, I'll see that, hey, you have a question and I can answer it. But a video I did like 3 months ago, I think they have a little timer or something, and so they don't tell me that anybody asked a question, so I have to troll through the old videos, which I don't really have a lot of time to do that. I did it for this because this is road rage and I'm answering questions. So I trolled through some of the older videos, or the older, newer videos, and here we go. So he's saying, how many kilograms can this lift? Depending on speed and force, and all of that. He's going to use VR, which I would highly recommend, rather than trying to move a big old screen and all that. You just have it, that's hooked to your head, and it's a better view anyway. I mean, I had triples, VR, that blows it away. But anyway, here's the thing. So steel is pretty heavy. And in the next video, or this series here, I'm going to take apart the brand new compact rig frame, and I'm going to weigh each component and weigh it all together and kind of give you an idea about how much the different parts weigh. Obviously the base, it doesn't matter because everything's pushing down on that unless you have to move the whole thing. But the mid frame, okay, so that's the traction loss. You want to kind of know, you don't want a 1,000-pound traction loss frame in there. It's a race car, okay, guys. It's power to weight. If you got giant motors, you can move a lot more than if you got really small motors. Now, I proved that on that windshield wiper video. I went through a whole series using these little tiny windshield wiper motors, and I just couldn't get him to be convincing enough. I can get him to move, me in a seat, but no, it's power to weight. So you want lightweight seats, you want a lightweight top frame, and you want it balanced. If you're not balanced, those motors are working really hard, and you know, they just might not have enough gusto or torque, whatever you want to call it, to move the thing convincingly. They'll move it, but they might not move it, you know, the way that you want. I want my rig to be violent if I need it to be. I mean, if you're driving a Formula One car, you're driving a high horsepower car, you want to feel like you're driving something like that. You don't want to be going, okay, I'm moving backwards. Okay, I'm moving. No, you want maximum. That's why, you know, the components that I use, I'm choosing to use them. I've done some tests and I put the videos out there. I'm doing this so that you don't have to. All right, so I bought this little hydraulic assembly. It actually has a hydraulic reservoir, pushes a little thing, and it does stop. I needed to see just how much amperage it would take to stall this thing out, and we know that it's right about the limit of this thing. So this is a 25 amp supply. It'll go a little bit higher, but so I did the 12 volt windshield wiper motor series, whole series on that. I did the 24 volt wheelchair motors. Not too bad, but still, crab pot motors, 12 volts, with unlimited amps from the battery. That made it simple for me. Made it simple to shut off too. Yeah, I'm convinced with that. All right, so next question. That was a good one. All right, $10 from Stedman Dublin. Thanks. That's all he says, thanks. And I appreciate it. I know he's been watching the channel for a while, and I appreciate it. I really do, man. You rock. And put that towards the channel. In fact, these things, maybe 2 of them are $10. I'm not sure, but links in the description. So I've been using that money slowly, you know, just kind of popping it in here and there. And it's for you guys, because unless you want to wade through a whole bunch of information in text on xsimulator.net, and believe me, you're going to spend a little bit of time doing it. It's nice to have somebody, you know, kind of showing you what they're doing and trying new things and seeing if they work. Some of my stuff doesn't work. Some of it works better than others. At least I'm going to give you a little bit of an opinion, and you'll be able to see firsthand. So thanks again, Stedman. Appreciate it, buddy, and hang with me. I'm still working on it. All right, thanks. So this one it's a compliment, but it's also a problem. And so this is going to be interesting. I've thought about it too. So from Terry Morey, I appreciate you writing me, Terry. I know there's not a lot of places to turn, and sorry for taking so long 1 month ago to get back to you. So he's got a 2 degree of freedom project. He's got 24 volt power supplies, just like I had on Amazon, and the 24 volt Jazzy wheelchair motors. And he turns the motors on. They work, but after 15 seconds, they shut off. What's going on? Yeah, it could be a lot of different things. So, if you guys could weigh in, if you've had this experience. Obviously on mine, they worked. I put an ATV brake on each one of the motors, and I clamped the brake, and I got like 25 amps, you know, stall speed, and they didn't trip the circuit breaker on the power supplies. But you know, when you're getting this stuff over Amazon or whatever, sometimes they're defective. So I'm suggesting that he swap either the motors or just swap power supplies and see if it still happens. So to follow the trouble. If it's doing it on both of them, maybe it's that one motor is over, you know, causing it to pull too many amps. Maybe I'm just not sure of his setup. Is it is it on the chair? Is it free form with no weight? Is it, you know, there's a lot of variables. I don't know. So I kind of gave him a little bit of a suggestion here. If you have an amp clamp it on there, see how many amps it peaks out at. And, you know, kind of go for that. You can ask me again, you know, give me some more information. Did you swap them? Did the trouble follow that? Did it not? I don't know. So this is a first little part, probably, of a few questions from Terry. So appreciate it, buddy. And, you know, we're all pulling for you because we all want this stuff to work. Okay, we're getting close to the end of the questions. This one is a super thanks from Wilco's Projects, $2. All right, I'm Chris, all the way here from Lincoln in the UK. Love your videos. Inspired me to build my own racing sim, which I'm currently attempting to. Yes. All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate the super thanks. I really want to concentrate on getting this baby up and running. That's my baby, my new compact sim. I walk by the thing every Friday. I walk by it, and I'm like, I'm going to do it. I've just a few more little things. And then by the time I get home, my wife gives me a list of stuff to do about that long. You know, it's just life. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that, you know, probably on the wiring video number 2 with the SMC3 testing, I'm going to be giving away, I'm probably going to be giving away some SimTools Pro licenses. Now, I've done this in the past 2 or 3 times. I probably gave away maybe 6 or 7 licenses. Thanks again to Dustin from SimTools. Now, like I said before, SimTools, that's Dustin and his gang. All the plugins, those are different people that, you know, Dustin may know them, but he doesn't get any of the stuff anyway. So SimTools Pro, which you need that to run these things. So hopefully, you know, I can do another drawing and some of you guys will win. It'll be simple. It'll be real easy. You just type in what I say in the comments, and then I'll give it a couple weeks and I'll tally them all up. We'll do a random drawing, but I'm not going to do it this video. So you don't have to just write your questions in on this one. You don't have to do anything other than if you got a question, something's not working, or you want to, you know, whatever. All right, so that's coming up. It's just not today on this video. It's going to be on the wiring part 2. And then it's just me. There's no group of people. It's just me. Just so you know. But I'll give away that on behalf of Dustin at SimTools at a future date. And so far, you know, everything's gone good like that. So on to the next, and I think the last question. All right, so this one is not the last question. This is from Wilson Bradley. Now, he's written me back and forth a few times. Hey, brother, did a search, and yours is the only one showing video on how to set this stuff up. And this is referring to No Limits 2 roller coaster. Oh, yeah, we're moving. Oh, man, this is... Oh, wait. Well, oh, good God. Jesus, I'm upside down. I can't hit the brake. No, holy crap. Whoa. I don't know. Oh, man, I don't know who designed this thing. I don't know what's wrong with these people. Oh, good God. VR is like, this is so... Whoa. Oh, good God, people, stop it. Stop. Whoa. Oh, my. These people are crazy. Why would you make a game like this? Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, that was awesome. Yeah, I did a video on it I bought this game for my daughter because she liked roller coasters back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, let me give it a shot in VR. And oh my God. Yeah, that was, yeah, it was pretty realistic, especially with the wind sim and all that stuff. But no, that's the only video I've done, and so far I've not got her to ride it yet. But and she walks by it every single day. But yeah, it is what it is, and I'll get her to ride it someday. All right, so that's that. Next question is the last question, and then we're out and on to wiring video number 2. Okay, so this one is from YN, and I know he's wrote a couple different things in. And once again, I do apologize for the lighting. It's horrible, but you know, it is what it is, and lighting doesn't make everything better or worse. It's just knowledge. That's what we're here for. You know, you may not like my music, so I try to keep that to a minimum. And the lighting, well, you know, it is what it is. Whether I do it or not, I'd rather get the information out there. That's why I'm in a car or I'm out here or whatever, just to try to get it to you. So YN says, and this is 2 months ago, so it's been a little while, and I did have to weed through a lot of questions I'm not putting on here yet because either they were duplicates or something like that. Do you think that there's a chance using wipers to drive your new setup? I was wondering how much more efficient they are on the front of the thing. And wiper motors aren't going to move that thing. This is definitely not as stable as like my big rig, but I think I got these particular directions. They seem to be hooked up okay. It doesn't feel like I'm in a game at all. It feels, oh my God, this thing I have to hang it on. I didn't know how really violent and how venomous this rig actually was until last night, because I was just used to it. I grew up, with it. And you're going to do the same thing too. They barely moved the seat, and they're not going to move the whole frame. It with me not in it, yes, they would probably move it, but I'm pushing 198 pounds, 195 pounds. That's in kilograms. That's probably 1,000 kilograms. I don't know. I have to do the math, which I have some friends in Europe that can do that math, but not me. I have to actually do it, and I don't want to do it. So anyway, wiper motors, no, it's not going to work for that. It might work for a seat mover if you get some really big truck wiper motors, but if you're going to do that, you might as well go with something commercial. You just want 2 wires coming in and a case not grounded, just like the commercial motors that I have, the crab pot motors or those wheelchair motors. But you do have to check to make sure that there's no ground, and refer to xsimulator.net or something like that, or something that's already been used by other people. That's why I have the crab pot motors, because I read on xsimulator.net that people have had success with it. And so there you go. All right, guys, great job. Thanks. Ask your questions. I do appreciate all the super thanks, because it allows me to get, a couple more parts here and there and bring them to you, show them, there's a different way you can do it. A little bit jazzed up about this Arduino shield. I like that. I like the concept. And I'm pretty jazzed up about this 8-pin connector. You can just solder stuff on the top, slam it down. It ain't going anywhere. It's not like the individual pins. They're all mashed together on these things. They're all mashed together, so the chances of it coming loose and you having a loose connection still possible. But I'm actually going to build one out of this and send it over to a buddy of mine, and we'll see how it works on his rig. All right, guys, Dave out.
I really appreciate you asking the question. Have a good one.
Hey, so a big shout out to my son-in-law. I'm in his truck, little Toyota. He lent it to me for this little trip because I had to leave some vehicles at home. But hey man, these are really good questions you guys are coming up with and really good comments. I do appreciate it. I've been running a couple of the races with no motion, and you know, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. I wish it was different, but I can't say that I really dig it. But it just kind of goes to show that you know, you're going to have some problems. Even if you buy a rig that's, you know, you do spend the money on a motion rig that, you know, you just buy, you know, you're going to have problems. You're going to have to send that thing in. And, you know, I don't have to send it in. I just need a few minutes to actually work on it a little bit, understand what the problem is, and fix it. Really fun. I tell you what, the guys, everybody everybody in the league right now is driving really well. There's some clean passing going on, a little bit of bumping, but you know, what do you expect? I mean, we're having a great time. I couldn't be happier to be part of that club. Well, I'm passing the International Motorsports Hall of Fame and Talladega. Way off in the distance is Talladega. So the super speedway way out there. And that was a quick view. Oh my gosh. I have not been to that track. I've been to Daytona and a couple others, but not that. I drive by it all the time. It seems like at least a couple times a year. This year, probably about 4 times. Which brings up a point. I may go ahead on this trip on the way back and go to Barber Motorsports Park. So if I do, I'm going to include the footage or what I can get and whatever's running. But at least they have a really cool motorcycle museum there. Well, that's all for this episode of Road Rage. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope that you stayed tuned long enough to get your question answered. And remember to ask questions, because I can answer them. This is your best shot at getting at least a decent answer. Well, here we go again, down the road. Let's see how far we get to go.